to regular session, and I would ask you all please to stand and say the pledge with us. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a little bit different agenda tonight, so bear with me. We're going to move to item 4, which will be the approval of minutes from our board meeting March 22nd and April 12th. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Sean, please call the roll.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
4-0.
Thank you. Next is item 5, and it will be superintendent's presentations. Jonathan, I will turn it over to you.
Great. I am going to, I think, present right here, if that's okay, because I have all of the awards here, and they're a little heavy, and then I'll give one to each person here. I want to, first of all, just frame up what we do to recognize our staff on a regular basis and then lead to where we are today. So the Big Rock Award, we actually, each week, we do something called 5 on Friday, and the 5 on Friday is just staff recognizing staff for living out comic culture. So if you're watching this for the first time online, or you're maybe someone new and not heard of this yet, first of all, I'm sorry I haven't told you about it yet, but comic culture is something that's very important to us, and it really is talking about our 3 big rocks, and our 3 big rocks are personalized learning, which is something that happens in and out of the classrooms every day, which is Big Rock 3. Inclusive excellence, which is Big Rock 2. It's a spirit in which we live out and do life together, but also design the experiences in our classrooms and outside of our classrooms. And then Big Rock 1, which is an intentional focus on culture, in that idea that the way we do life together matters, and so being intentional about it is really important to us here, and we've defined that in something called the BBE. The BBE is the behavior, the beliefs, the behaviors, and the experiences that we hope to create at Mason City Schools. And so if you have time and you don't know those, please look that up online on our website and look through that, because it's really important to us. And so each week, staff members recognize staff members, and we celebrate them by honoring them each week. And it's a fun little 5 on Friday. We have some student video team members that help us with the videos, and they do some voiceovers and some fun music, and it's just a neat way for us to do an ongoing recognition and celebration of what we believe. But then each year, we go out to our administrators and leaders in the buildings, and we ask them to select a person that truly has lived out the Big Rock work here, and someone that has taken the 3 big rocks and demonstrated that through and through, whether it's in the classroom as a classroom teacher, potentially transportation team, or our student nutrition team. It just depends on where you're working throughout the district. You're living this all the way out. So we select one person per building. And so I'd like today to have each of our members, I'll call their name if they would come up here, and then I would like to give them their Big Rock Award. And this is, I can't emphasize how big of a deal this is. We have 1,300 employees throughout our school district. We have amazing people here. We work with, we had a team in from Cajon Valley, California today going through, and they just were so impressed with the quality of the staff that's here. So to be recognized and lifted up for this work is such an honor here at Mason City Schools. So I would like to, if I could, have Alex Burkett from our high school, if you would come down. Let's give Alex a hand as he comes down. Congratulations. Yep. I'm going to have you stand right over here. And you want to introduce our friends here as well?
And this is Mr. Hibbs, who's as much part of this award as I am. He is a facility therapy dog here at the high school in his 2nd year. So he's, I like to joke and say that he's the favorite staff member.
You made favorite graduate list with his
Yes.
dad at graduation.
Yes.
Right behind me. Right when I walked into graduation and stood there, a tennis ball bounced down and landed right on my seat. And I looked up, and there was Hibs just sitting there. So we'll have you pause for just a second. Our next person, Jocelyn Berlue from the middle school. Jocelyn, if you would come down.
We'd like for each one of you, as you come up to get your award, to walk by and shake the board's hand, because we truly do appreciate you. And Alex, we'd like you to come back.
Or pause it maybe.
Appreciate you.
So appreciative for what
And if you would stay up here so we get our whole team, Jocelyn, that'd be great. Just right over here, it'd be wonderful. Jocelyn, we surprised Jocelyn in her classroom, and which was so fun to just pop in to announce this, and her students were there, and just the work that she's doing at our middle school is outstanding, and has such an influence on our staff and students. We're so grateful. Joy Hicks could not be here today, but let's go ahead and clap for Joy Hicks. Her picture back there. So we'll make sure we pass that love on to Joy as we see here. Adeline Miller. Is Adeline here?
Yes. Yes.
Adeline, you're here, yes. Adeline has kind of semi-retired a little bit, right?
Oh, I'm retired.
I didn't want to commit you to it. But Adeline is back, and we're just so honored to have you here tonight. So thank you so much.
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
Everyone respects you so much, so please
Thank you.
say hi.
Thank you.
We'll get you over here. Thanks, Adeline.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And then I would like to recognize Corey Harris from Mason Early Childhood Center. So let's welcome Corey Harris up. Then we like to ask our staff to then look beyond buildings into central office and some of the other additional services. And so tonight we are very just grateful for George Highfield, and so we're going to bring George Highfield up for Buildings and Grounds.
Appreciate you so much. Thank you.
George, you're kind of thinking about retirement. Is that true? Or
I changed his mind.
we try to talk people out of those. Well, we're happy for you too. I know that's on the horizon. And then our final Big Rock Award, we go even beyond the buildings, beyond the district, and we look at a community partner who has just lived out the Big Rock work and supported our work in the district. And so I would like to ask a representative from our Kiwanis Mason Club to come down. So let's give them a hand.
I really appreciate some of my fellow Kiwanians came around. We've been around since 1956. Some of us look like we've been around longer than that. But I want to say one thing. My mom babysat for George when he was 2 years old. And he was a bad little boy. We value and appreciate our partnership with the schools. It means probably we get more out of it than we give, so we really appreciate this.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. I'm going to press pause for just a minute while we have our folks here. And then if you have guests here with you, because I know some of you have fan clubs with you and teams and family, if you could just say hi to them, introduce so that we can also honor them as well, if there's anybody here with you tonight.
Yeah, my parents are back there, Mike and Mary Ann Bachcha.
Thank you for coming. Anyone else have family here you'd like to?
My husband Brian and my daughters Shai and Kai are
And my husband Doug.
And I'd already mentioned my fellow Kiwanians. We have past presidents, current treasurers, school representatives, past school board members. We got it all. So thank you guys for being here.
That's great. I know that it's not just you all that do the work. I know it's your family, your friends, your administrators, those that are supporting you. So I know there's a lot that comes behind you. So thank you so much for being here tonight. We truly are honored to have you as employees here or partners in our community and the work that you do, but also just your support and supporting what we do, because it's something we believe in. Beliefs are the core of who we are. So thank you so much for living those out each and every day. Our students benefit and our families do as well. I'll turn it over if the board has anything else, and then we'll grab a picture with you all.
If you would, any comments? I would just love to say that I think it's truly an honor and shows what an incredible person you are when your peers will honor you the way your peers are honoring you tonight as representatives of the district, as an employer of people who provide a service. Our people are our most critical asset, and I just personally want to thank you and your team that you work with, because I know you see yourselves as team players. That's how you get here, and that's how we get the work done. But I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. We'd love to get a picture.
Grab a picture, is that okay?
Wait on Tracy. Tracy, where would you like?
I mean, it just came up, Be Real, right now.
Funny.
It's for Be Real.
You should do it, you should do it.
I think I'm going to, real quick.
Everybody smile for Tracy's Be Real.
Be Real. Everybody in there. Get in, get in.
All right.
Get in, George. Come this way, George. There we go.
Take both pictures at the same time.
The first Be Real.
First,
Be Real board meeting. You don't know Be Real yet, it is.
Some way to go to the thing that it tells you you have to take a picture in 2 minutes and if you can post it. Delete mine. Whatever happened.
all right. Everybody can come up with the board right up here. I'm sorry. Oh, Be Real is a new social media app.
This is the latest Snapchat. Pretty much.
I'm gonna have to work this out, let's see. And it's just,
I don't know who he's looking at. Come on, Mr. Gibbs. There you go. Front and center. Look at Tracy.
There we go, there we go. 1, 2, 3. I love it. Congratulations.
I've taken more photographs for this than I've ever taken. And I hate them.
Must we?
Yeah, that's fine. Of course.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Pictures.
I'll do it later. Shoot, oh no.
I love it.
All right, you're all in, looking great. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you.
Hey, there's a procedure to gain 2 or 3 inches.
I will say, Kiwanis, we gave Kiwanis a rock, and they just handed me $5,300 worth of checks to our schools. So that seems like a pretty good trade-off.
Really good deal. Is that a gold rock or?
We have one more award. Before everybody leaves, we have one more award.
One more.
One more award.
It could be standing for standing ovation as well.
Yes.
So we have one more award that we give out. So we give the Big Rock Awards to recognize the Big Rock work going. And then we have an award that just, the description of this is someone who just overflows with Comet spirit through and through. They've been here doing the work, and when you see them, you think Mason Comets in the spirit of the Comet. So if I could have Nancy Kelly come on down, please. So if you want to just come down and say hi for just a second, and then we'll get everybody on their way for the evening.
All right. What's it called, Tracy? What's it, Go Ready, or was it?
Stay right up here.
Be ready.
Something? Be ready, whatever. Mine says I got to cut grass. I got to be quick. So when this award came up, I instantly thought about Nancy. Nancy's been working for Mason for 39 years.
That's awesome.
39 years. And she reminds Deanna, the other assistant principal, she's been working longer than Deanna's been alive. But you would have no idea. The energy she has, the passion she has for kids, the passion she has to help our staff members. She will do anything you ask her to do. And it's always with, yep, I got it. We'll take care of it. And I really hope, this is year 25 for me, I hope in 14 more years I have the same energy and passion she has, because it's truly a blessing. And we're so excited because I'll have her for year 40 next year. And so we're just lucky to have her at MI. We're lucky to have her in the district. And I couldn't think of a better person who fits the description of a spirit of a comet than Nancy Kelly.
All right. Nancy, we're going to want a picture with you as well.
I just want to thank everybody, and Eric, thank you. I'm the one that's full of gratitude. You know, you can't stay in the same place for 39 years unless you love it. And so I wake up blessed, and it's just, it's everyone around me that makes me want to be here, so thank you.
One last thing. It's her birthday.
That's right.
Happy birthday.
So can we sing? Let's do it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nancy. Happy birthday to you.
Nancy, we're going to need a picture with you as well.
Everyone else, thank you so much for coming in tonight.
She does. I agree. That's a great picture. Yeah, yeah. Come on in. It doesn't look that. Congrats, Nancy.
There's a box somewhere to put that in.
I know it. That's the line, Eric.
That was awesome, Jonathan.
Thank you for the time to recognize
Absolutely.
them. That means a lot.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on with our agenda. Next is item 6, which is hearing of the public. Tracy, do we have any?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing tonight? Okay. Moving on to item 7, administrative personnel. We have some contracts up. I need a motion, please.
Move. Seconded?
Thank you. Are there any comments, or Jonathan, did you have any?
Yeah, just so people understand the rhythm that we have here. So not everyone has the same contract start times as our administrators are on a rotation. And so these are the folks that are up this year for their start for their next 2-year contract. I will say we are so grateful. We, as I mentioned earlier, and I'll probably mention again, having a team in today to reflect on just what's going on here in the district. That work is led by our teacher leaders, our student leaders, but the folks that make that possible are the administrators that build that environment and support the folks and raise those voices. So I want to thank everyone that's on here and congratulate them on continuing their work here at Mason City Schools.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes.
4-0.
Thank you. Next up, item 8. There are several pieces to this. Certified additional duties, district-funded appointments.
All non-district funded positions.
Yeah. Okay, I need a motion, please.
So moved. Seconded.
Any questions, comments?
There's a lot of work on here. I know this agenda is a big agenda because a lot of it's setting up contracts, but also setting up work for the summer. So you'll see summer professional development work going on here. That's all listed out there so people can see what work's being done. I want to thank our staff that steps up to do that work. A lot of the times, instead of pulling our teachers out of the classroom, they're doing it over the summertime. And so we're grateful for that because this is where a lot of the work gets put together for the whole scope and sequence for the year. So we're grateful for the folks that are going to be coming in the summer and doing that work. There's also other work on here, which is based on the athletic programs and supporting some of the pieces there. So I thank them as well, but there's a lot of professional development work that happens.
I believe I misspoke and called them district-funded positions. These are non-district funded positions in this item.
Yep, item 8.
And from the amount of pieces to this and the people involved in the work, people who think that everyone gets the summer off, they're misguided.
We have a lot of work that happens during the summer.
A lot of planning.
Yep.
I think for those who are at home, go to the website, look at this agenda and see the names of the staff members that are gonna commit hours this summer to make sure that in 22-23 school year, our students have wonderful opportunities and experiences. Because I think it's important that we see that this is also part of the work when there aren't students in the building. So thank you to all of these staff members that commit their time to make this a better place.
And I just have to recognize Amy Brennan and her team do a lot of the organization to make sure this happens because it's vetted work. So it's proposed work. It's also put together through the learning team. And so they make sure that there's both an alignment, a quality, and there's some kind of expectation at the end of that. And so that's great about what we do as a district. So it's not just, to your point, it's purposeful work. So it's something that we take a lot of time to make sure we're investing well. So thank you, Amy, and your team for getting that done.
Any other comments? Seeing none, Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mrs. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
4-0.
Next item is item 9, and this is certified personnel. We have some retirements, resignations, leaves of absences. I need a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
Only comment is if those that are retiring or resigning and moving on to new opportunities, just want to thank them for their service here and continue to know that they're always welcome here. And then the appointments, we have some new names on here, some new teacher appointments, and so congratulations, welcome to Mason City Schools. So you'll see some of those pop on to the agenda as well. It's a busy season right now for hiring, and our principals and teacher leaders and HR division are doing a great job just making sure we have that pipeline moving through.
Absolutely. This is the busiest time of the year for
that piece of the
Ms.
puzzle.
McCall and her team. Any other comments? Seeing none, Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Orr?
I have to abstain because my oldest daughter, Maya Espinosa, will get a one-year contract, so abstain.
Congratulations to her.
Yes.
Mrs. Yingling?
Congratulations, Mr. Orr, and yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
3-0.
Next up is item 11, resolution for hiring non-certified personnel. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second it.
Second, thank you.
Did we skip 10?
Skip 10.
10, I was gonna say, you said 11 and
We skipped 10.
yes, we
Yep.
did.
I'm
Supplemental.
sorry.
New appointments.
This is, let's go back to item 10 then. Supplemental personnel, new appointments is the only piece we have to that then, so I need a motion for that.
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. Comments, questions?
My son is excited for the esports in middle school. That's the one thing he can't stop talking about.
Big
All right.
deal.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, Sean, please call the roll.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Enthusiastically, yes.
4-0.
Now we'll move on to 11. I had a motion and a second. You want to do it again?
Mhm.
So moved.
A second.
Second, yeah.
Thank you. Any comments, questions on resolution for hiring non-certified personnel? Seeing none, Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes.
4-0.
Item 12 is the next item. Classified personnel. Again, retirements, resignations, a couple of appointments. Discussion or questions? Need a motion? Did we get a motion on this?
Not yet. So moved.
This differently numbered agenda is kicking my tail. Apologize. Okay, so I need a second?
You got it.
Got a second? Okay. Item 12, classified personnel. Any comments or questions?
Only comments I'll make is just anytime retirements, resignations, congratulations, thank you for your service as well, but also appointments. We have constantly new people coming on board. So I want to thank Tanya and her team for making that continuous. I know you're super busy and your team is, so thank you for keeping that ball rolling. So that's all I have for item 12.
Actually, hiring across the board has been really difficult, and I see that there are various responsibilities all through here in our hiring, and that's awesome that we're able to utilize our resources and
Absolutely.
make that happen. Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes,
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
4-0.
thank you. Next up is item 13, certified personnel additional duties. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. Comments and questions?
Yeah, 13, another great example, and I agree with Mr. Orr. Take time to recognize the folks that are doing great work and the additional duties that they're doing throughout our district. You see on here, these are the Big Rock, some of our Big Rock members and other leaders throughout the district that are just continuing to push us forward into the Mason quality that we have all come to enjoy and celebrate. And you see some names on here of people that were here tonight being recognized. So just thanks so much. And then the summer curriculum work, just another example how our learning team with Amy, Chrissy, Shauna have just done a fabulous job of continuing to make sure that we're getting the work that needs to be done this summer. So we're set up for success next year and keeping the Mason momentum. So thanks to Dr. Brennan and her team for keeping us with high quality summer engagement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none, Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
4-0.
Next is item 14, classified personnel, additional duties. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Comments and questions? Seeing none, Sean, please call the roll.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
4-0.
Next up, item 15, contracted personnel's independent contracts. I need a motion.
So moved. Second?
And questions, conversation?
On item 15, we have contracted with Mike several years now, and he does great work around the district. So he's a known entity. Quality of work is great. I know that Todd works directly with him on projects, and so this is our contract to make sure that we can continue the work that needs to be done.
Great, thank you. Yes, I know that, recognize the name.
Mhm.
Any other comments? Seeing none, Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes.
4-0.
Next will be item 16, this policy change recommendations. This is the second reading of policies, so they will be voted on tonight by the board after a first reading at our last meeting. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments, questions, suggestions, suggested changes?
Just the
This would be the
changes, but
time.
thank you for, yeah, the engagement in the process. I know it's a long process, but, yeah, appreciate the engagement in it.
And just so the community knows that process, we periodically review all of our policies based on our needs and changes as well as law. And we have a policy committee that goes through that and it goes to the board and to the public for a first reading.
That's right.
And at the second reading, which would be tonight for these policies, it is voted on by the board for acceptance by the district.
That's right. And they can click in and see any of those changes, and then the process from here goes on to, my executive assistant will go through now and begin to justify those onto the board docs, so people will be able to see them there as well.
Yep. And Angie does a great job.
She
That's-
does.
That's a lot of work as well. Any other comments? Seeing none, please call the roll, Sean.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
4-0.
We have item 17, first reading of new instructional resources recommendations. This also gets approved at the second reading, correct, Jonathan?
That's correct.
So I'll ask for a motion in a second, just for discussion's sake tonight.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
Yeah, this also goes through a thorough process, and the process starts with our teacher leaders, with Dr. Brennan and her team, and then goes through our Student Achievement Committee, and it's brought there for conversation. We have our teachers come in and present them to us, answer questions. If there is any community member that would like to see anything that's on this list or to take a look at any of the resources, we're happy to accommodate, and they can meet with Dr. Brennan, myself, any of our teammates would be happy to help them with that. And there are links in here as well, so they can go through and see those. So we always encourage community engagement, especially when we're approving any kind of updates to our curriculum. But it is on a cycle, and that goes through that process each time.
Any other discussion?
So I was on Student Achievement and saw the presentation. You know, we've got some really superstar teachers. The AP Language and Comp and the AP Literature and Comp, those two educators actually help contribute to not only the AP exam, but to the textbook. So we have subject matter experts that teach our students
You're right.
here. So that is an invaluable resource, and it's so we should really be excited about not only our staff, but the work that they do outside the building that gets filtered into what our students countrywide get to see. So, well done.
Thank you. That's a great point.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ian. Great to point out. Any other comments? Seeing none, this is a first reading, so we will not need a vote. So we'll move on to item 18. These are action items from the superintendent. I need a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
And discussion, is there anything, Jonathan, you in particular wanted to highlight?
Yeah, I just to remind people how this section works. So these are, there's a variety of things on here, whether it's a Hamilton County ESC contract, which is for summer evaluations. You'll see that show up on here because we do contract folks in to help us with that. You'll see media center book disposal. So anytime we're disposing of any books, that goes on to our agenda. The Fifth Third Bank Safe Agreement is something that I know Sean has worked with. I don't know if you want to comment on that, what those are.
Yeah, so basically this is, we'll contract with Fifth Third Bank. It's kind of a newer technology where we actually have some safes in the building, and they will not only count cash for us, but basically at the same time that they count the cash, it's considered deposited in the bank. So some people are probably more familiar with that with your checks. If you have an app on your phone, you might be able to deposit a check remotely. This gives us the same ability to do that with cash, and so instead of having a a daily bank delivery, we can do that less often, and so it saves us money there, but it still has the funds being secure by having those counted and deposited in that safe.
Thank you.
There are other items on here that are agreements that we have gone through, processes with evaluating different companies, whether it's a copier agreement or some other pieces on here. There is something at the bottom, K, which is we're just going out to request for bidding for some projects that are happening around the district. That was, the last few items on here were all brought through our facilities committee, and so discussed thoroughly. I know Todd brought those through so we could take a look at whether it's the train agreements or the Johnson Control agreements. These are pieces that have been in place each year. They're updated so that we make sure that all of our HVAC systems are working appropriately, and they're preventative and proactive measures so that those things don't fall behind, because if they do, we all get phone calls when, you know, the heat goes out or the air conditioning goes out. So these are the controls, I believe. Am I saying that?
Works too well, like tonight, I get complaints.
Well, you know, when the temperatures are fluctuating outside, every once in a while it does get a little chillier. We'll have some blankets maybe here next time we're here. I think that's all I have to add here. There is a revised holiday list for year-round employees for Juneteenth, so that's federal holiday. That's also on here. And then there's sublease that's happening at the Premier Health, and we're still looking into that and understanding it more. But that's on here today, so they're working with us, and that's right here on our property by the football field.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Any comments or questions from the board? Okay. Seeing none, Sean, please call the roll.
Mrs. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Four oh.
The next item is 19, the treasurer's report. I ask for a motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. And Sean, I'll turn it over to you. Should you have any comments?
Sure. Just call your attention to a couple of things on here tonight. The 5-year forecast, item F, and assumptions. We approve, each year we approve the forecast twice a year, once in the fall in October, and then once here in the spring in May. Once we approve this, then we submit it to the state as a couple of reasons. One, for our compliance, but also just for our planning purposes. It's a document that we use to help us plan financially for the district. So there's a process that we go through for this. We have a finance committee that meets a few weeks ago and goes through the details of it. Then we have a follow-up meeting with our board in a work session where there's additional review. And then after everything has gone through that process, then we have that on here for approval tonight. One thing I will point out is that we had our operating levy 2 years ago where we had mentioned that we would commit to making that levy last at least 5 years. And I'm happy to say that we are officially 2 years into that 5-year commitment, and we are still on track to fulfill that. So that is the good news tonight. The second thing I would call out is donations, item G. Tracy mentioned earlier that the Kiwanis had dropped off some checks tonight, so I'm sure we'll see them on an agenda here maybe next month. But for tonight's purposes, we do have some various donations from both individuals and companies, PTOs, whether it's for after prom or the comic cupboard or different activities going on in the building. Again, we always appreciate our community partners and their support of us and the students we have in our building. So that's all tonight.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? I'll just make a couple of comments. I am so appreciative of the donations that we get from the community, both monetary and in kind. It helps us work with so many of the extras and the programs and allows some of our staff to go in depth with some subjects and classes that they have. It's just I think a great example of teamwork between the district and the community members, and I'm extremely appreciative of that. Also, every once in a while we get a question about why we work with Warren County ESC or Hamilton County ESC, and they are, but those two organizations are within the state of Ohio educational helmet, if you will. They supply resources and services that sometimes we can't do as well. By pooling resources and pooling staff members, we're able to better supply services to particular students that need very particular services. So it's not a farming out, if you will. It's a matter of collaboration and serving our students in a better way. So I'm grateful for all of those people that work with that and support that. In fact, Desiree Bachcha, another board member who could not be here tonight, she actually does work with them, and it's a great organization. I appreciate how she is able to share some things that they're doing with me. Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll ask for a vote. Sean?
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes.
4-0.
Next up is item.
Connie,
Sure.
before we move on, can we revisit real quick? I apologize, this just jumped in my head. Can we revisit item 9 that we read earlier? Sean, did you take note of who moved for that and who seconded on that one?
Item 9 was motioned by Mr. Orr, seconded by Mr. Galvin.
Can I just, for my own paranoia and cleaning up the record, can I move to can I make a motion for that one and then ask for Connie or Kevin to second that?
Motion for what? To rediscuss it?
No, yeah, just motion to.
Because I
approve it.
can't
Yeah.
vote on it.
I fell asleep at the wheel. I was supposed to move for that one, and
I will offer a second in ex post facto.
excellent. All right.
Thanks.
No,
Thanks, Charles.
no discussion.
Thanks, Charles.
Yep.
Clean that up. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's good. About that. I was, yeah, good catch. All right.
Do I need an attorney?
No worries.
Remove it from the agenda?
No, we're double stamping a triple stamp here. So.
Do we need a vote?
No.
Well, we need I think we should redo that vote for.
Yeah, if you,
Yeah.
yeah, we have a new motion in second. We probably should take a vote.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that. Sean?
Mr. Orr?
Abstain.
Mrs. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
3-0.
For any gadfly would-be litigants out there, we're in the clear. So
Good catch. Good
Okay.
catch. Well, you're in the clear.
I'm in the clear.
I'm now not in the clear.
Okay.
Good catch.
Finished? Good?
We're good.
Next
Sorry.
item? Okay.
20.
Next up is item 20, committee reports. Let's see, we have Arts and Activities Council, which I believe met since our last meeting. Tracy, were you able to attend?
I was able to attend. Yeah, go ahead, Tanya, because
We, on that meeting, approved the band show for 2022, 23, and we also approved the drama productions for next year. So we're very excited. We're not sharing what those are.
yes,
but
of course, we're
very
sworn to
excited.
secrecy, so, we'd have to black out everything if we told you the names.
That's fair. Little excitement.
More to come. That's great.
But they'll be great,
They will be.
Always leave them wanting more.
yes.
That really is a great committee. I was a part of that committee when it first started in the district, and it has come so far and provided so much insight and support for so many of our schools' activities. So the next committee that is up is Facilities Committee. Todd?
Yes, we discussed, of course, the train contracts, but we're also discussing the future addition at MECC as well. So your engagement in those discussions are very helpful.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on that? Next up is the Finance Committee. Sean, I'm assuming you'll head that one up.
Yeah, our main topic in that committee meeting was the 5-year forecast that we reviewed and approved tonight. So that we had a good, healthy conversation on that. And like I said, the best news that come out of it was that we're on track to keep our commitment to the community.
It's good news.
I don't think people give that young man enough credit for what he does and just the hard work on making sure that things are exactly the way they're supposed to be and that the assumptions make sense and that our projections and forecasts are fairly accurate. And so take a look at the 5-year forecast and compare it to the previous 5-year forecast, and you might see the good news that Sean's talking about. There's been some fortuitous bounces. Feel like we got a Monopoly card that said, collect $200 and pass go. So thank you for all you do.
Sure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Next is the Mason Schools Foundation. Tracy, you're up again.
That one, we had I was not at the last meeting because I needed to be on an interview with some other things, so I was not there.
I stopped by briefly just to get them set up, and so I know that they did meet, and I'm sure they had a robust conversation, but I was also running off to meet with a group as well. But I know the foundation, it wasn't on their agenda, but just to report on the foundation's engagement, they actually joined us today to be a part of the visit with the school that came today, because they're also always looking ahead and seeing what are things that we could be a part of and helping us to propel into the future. And so this is an opportunity, and it was a last minute visit by the school, but they were able to join us. So just their partnership continues to just be significant to what we do in the future.
Great, thank you. If there is anything upon looking back after tonight that we need to highlight, we will make effort, Tracy, with you to do that, or to cover it in our next board meeting if we need to do that.
I will note, thanks to our friend and Mason School Foundation board member Matt Steele and my perusal of his social media activity, he highlighted an article in the most recent Mason and Deerfield Lifestyle magazine about some of the donations that the Mason Schools Foundation has been able to invest in our district, in particular the Mason High School Language Lab refresh, so people should check that article out.
And that was their original donation too, if I recall correctly, the language lab to the school.
Yeah, and one thing that they're doing right now, they sponsor in the Mason Deerfield magazine a composite congratulatory to every single member of our class of 2022, and so check out Mason Deerfield magazine for that. And if you are a parent of a class of 2020 student, you can order a copy of that, and then some of the proceeds go back to the Mason Schools Foundation.
Excellent, thank you. Any other comments, questions about the foundation? Okay, that leaves Student Achievement Committee. Amy?
Yeah, and as Mr. Orr shared, the bulk of our time was really hearing directly from teacher leaders about the instructional resource proposals that were on tonight's agenda. And then also had a chance to share and have a good discussion about the summer work that you saw as well, just around the approach, philosophy, objectives of the work that was voted on this evening.
Thank you. And I will say that as a district, we make this a habit, but I have seen so many stellar examples on your committee with your work of how you truly take data and you utilize it. You are a shining example of doing that in our district and taking what we know, taking where we want to go and how we're going to do it, figuring it all out, and making the vision reality.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Next up would be legislative update. Jonathan?
I have no major updates since our last meeting. Yeah, at this
Nothing?
time.
Okay.
Yep.
You good with that? Okay. And that gets us to item 22, administrator commentary. Tracy?
I was noticing two things on the agenda that were related to me, so I just wanted to point them out. On item 8, you approved Cedric Cox, who was a Mason Schools Foundation funded grant from art teacher Maggie Michelle to do an incredible mural project at Mason Elementary. And Cedric is really a very talented African-American artist that is really making national headlines. So we may have just procured something that I think will continue to really add value in the future. But there are silhouettes of 3rd and 4th graders within that of our students. So just an amazing muralist project. And then you also approved in the donations funded from the MECC PTO, MECC Artist in Residence Allison Cook. And if you go in the courtyard right now, there is a beautiful mural that really showcases butterflies and a gorgeous cardinal and flowers. And every single kindergartner in Mason has had their hand in that mural. And so it's something that we care about. It wouldn't happen without partnerships like our Mason Schools Foundation, like our PTOs. And it's a beautiful way of really having that hands-on learning. So when you go back through the buildings, take a look for those.
Thank you, Tracy. Amy?
You know, I'm just reflecting, it's our last Tuesday of the school year, and just want to take a moment to really congratulate and thank our incredible staff for making it really a year that could have, it had a lot of challenges along the way and really did serve our students and our families so well. I think back to the summer, and we kind of, I've talked to many people who have said this year feels like maybe a few, you know, when you go back to August, it feels like such a long time ago. We, in the summer, kind of had this idea that, oh, we're going to have a normal year. And then all of a sudden, things changed pretty significantly in August. And we faced sub shortages, which now thankfully seem to be, you know, are getting to be a distant memory. Not that it's perfect, but hey, it's a lot better than it was through the fall. All sorts of of challenges that really forced staff in all of our arenas to adjust, to adapt, to figure out new ways. And I think what's really just amazing, I'm so grateful for, and makes me so both grateful and proud to be a part of our Mason community, is that every single time people found solutions, they found ways to make it work for students. The work didn't stop. You know, student achievement, the other piece that we came back to, we've shared here along the way, our English teacher leaders came together, did their research, consulted experts, created a literacy compass grounded in our big rocks to guide all of our decisions and for the future. Those are things I think in some places you'd say, well, it's too crazy, can't do it. And they figured out a way to do that and still to meet students' individual needs. Dr. Cooper mentioned we had some visitors from California here today to learn from us, and the things that they noted were, one, just how talented our staff is, and the culture, and that's because of the talents that they bring here. So just a huge congratulations to everyone for making it, and not just making it, but doing it in style and the way that we want to as well.
Yeah, we are blessed for sure. Thank you, Amy. Tanya?
Just want to congratulate our retirees. As always, it's very exciting to help launch people onto the next their next challenge in their career, or just being able to enjoy some time at home. So I congratulate them, as well as our Big Rock Award winners. Again, just excited to see them achieve. Thank you.
Thank you. Christine?
I want to congratulate our 2022 graduates. We were all, I'm sure, watching the weather hour by hour on Friday, Saturday. You know, the forecast kept changing. So thanks to the Herculean effort of Brandon Roppes, you know, Bobby, his team, as well as Todd's department. And there were a lot of hands in the pot trying to pull that off. And they did so in such a way that the presentation was beautiful. The weather turned out great. And it's pretty amazing, and appreciating those graduates and hope that their future's bright.
Thank you. Todd?
I'd like to echo congratulations to the class of 2022. I'd also like to, of course, thank Brandon Rompes and his team and our maintenance department. Mother Nature was a little feisty on Saturday, but it certainly turned out to be a beautiful day on Sunday. So very fortunate that all of us were able to experience that.
Thanks, Todd. Sean?
I'll also congratulate the class of 22 and also their families. Having a graduate last year, I know that it's an exciting time, and we wish them and their families well in their future endeavors. Also, a couple things on the agenda tonight that we did approve. One, I wanted to thank Jen Lavoie for her service here to the district in the fiscal office. She has done accounts payable for the last few years, and she found another opportunity, so wish her well. And then also welcome Jody Goley to our team. So she has already begun the transition, and we are moving forward. And again, wish Jen the best, and welcome Jody.
Thank you. Jonathan?
Yeah, echo the congratulations and thank yous to our staff for another amazing year. I want to thank this team, the executive team, for all the work you have all done and supported, and hours and hours of just making sure that we could stay in school and continue the momentum and the work here, because it's easy to get distracted, and you all kept us focused. So thank you all for your great work. I also want to just remind our families, if you're watching, and I hope you are, that just because the school year ends on Thursday and everybody goes home, and parents, I know it's a big transition back because we get ready for that as well. We are still around, and so if you need something, we have a safe tip line, and we do monitor the safe tip line, so students and families, if you need help or support, continue to reach out. We have resources. There are things that are always happening around the world that are concerning in our country or out, and so we just want you to know that we're here for you. And we're all working all year round. So we're around, we're here for you. My heart and prayers go out to, because we're a school, and when schools get impacted in the way that we've seen in the news today, we want just to know that our prayers go to those families and their loss, and our hearts go to them as well. And finally, I'll just end with just our Big Rock folks. I mean, I can't express enough how big of a deal that is for us to recognize them, and that's a recognition from their own colleagues. So I know they're not here right now, but if you see them again out there, just continue to remind them that's a really, really big deal to be recognized for that. We're just so grateful for their work. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jonathan. We'll get to board commentary. I'm going to mix it up tonight. Charles, you want to go first?
All right, well.
It's kind of the dreaded place, right?
I want to congratulate our spring sports teams that are still in competition, and also congratulate the boys lacrosse team. They finished up against St. X tonight down there. I was just following along the live results, but to the rest of our teams that are still in contention, good luck, especially those that they're being led by some seniors now that are kind of floating in that ether area between graduation and still kind of getting to cling on to the Mason culture. So do us proud on and off the field. Also want to thank the Mason Early Childhood Center art department for bringing in Allison Cook, who did a mural with our kindergartners, and that was cool to watch unfold and see them be part of that project, and getting to paint and leave their mark on the MECC building, so that was neat. I think dovetailing on some of the thanks that have been said already to Todd and the whole operations team for getting graduation to go smoothly this weekend. When we showed up there on Sunday, could not tell for a second that there was any stress or any strain under the hood. You guys had a well-oiled machine running there, and we're very grateful for everything that you and the team put in last week to make that possible, right up to the wire. So thank you. And also dovetailing on, I believe, last week being National Police Week. Want to recognize and thank the partnership that we have with the City of Mason Police Department, the Warren County Sheriff's Office, and Deerfield outposts there that we work with to serve our community, protect our community, especially on a day like today where we're mindful with the Uvalde, Texas community and the Robb Elementary community. We really are grateful for those that we're able to work with, and our hearts go out to those communities. And I think that's all I've got. Yep.
Okay. Ian, next up.
Yeah, I mean, echo both Dr. Cooper and Charles, and just heartbreak for that community that you show up to a safe place to learn and to come together, and when that tragedy befalls you, it just kind of shakes you to your core, and you hold your kids tighter, you love your community a little bit more, and you look out for one another. And so for those families that suffered loss today, and for that community, just our hearts and prayers and thoughts go out to you. It's something that you just don't ever want to see again, and when you do, it just breaks your heart. So class of 2022, my first graduating class as a board member, so you will always have a special place in my heart. It's a beautiful day. Todd's team just killed it. My shoes weren't even wet out there on the carpet. Jonathan doesn't have a speck of anything on his Hokas. So you know you guys did a spectacular job, you know, just to see your community come out in that way and celebrate the years of work that goes into that one moment. I just kept saying it's such a milestone, and I think each one of us who have been there, or even if you haven't, you just realize that it's such a pivotal, transitional moment for not only those students, but for their families, sending their kids off to their more independent lives. So it was really awesome to share that with the community and the students. So thank you guys for allowing me to do that. Was able to hang out. I think if you're listening or watching, you've heard that Cajon Valley has been here, and so I was able to be in the kickoff meeting and then the closing meeting. And, you know, in the kickoff meeting, our high school students sat right here and just gave Cajon Valley a sample of the things that they have opportunities to do and what their passions are, and how this school district has given them the space and opportunity to find paths that are meaningful to them. And to watch how Cajon Valley responded to that made me grateful all over again to live here. You know, they were astounded that we could offer all of the things that we do for our high schoolers, and they are just now building a high school in that community, and they're just like, they couldn't absorb enough of what we do. And so it really was rejuvenating to hear the students really own this and use their voices. It wasn't any of the administrators, it wasn't any of Dr. Jordan was there and she gave great context, but really the students just telling that school district, hey, this is why we're excited to graduate from here. You had graduating seniors talking about how they know that they're gonna go on and be uber prepared for their next journey because of what happens here. So, you know, to be a part of that today was really, really affirming and inspiring. And we're doing really good work, and we're making partnerships that are meaningful and that will have impact on how we do what we do. So I'm just excited about that piece. I want to echo Charles again. I think did the Bombers lose tonight? Or is it still going on?
Bombers eked it out, I think.
Well, he'll still be on the board either way, but we won't hold that against him.
Never ask a question you don't know the answer.
That's true. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer.
He just lured you right in.
He did. Sneaky.
And don't leave an answer you don't want to hear as
Right.
an option.
I mean, to make it to was it the district final?
I think so, yeah.
District final is an amazing accomplishment. Kudos to those young men. Our girls lacrosse team, I think, is still.
They're still alive.
Still alive. We've got regional final action for track and field in Wayne tomorrow and Friday. Volleyball is still rolling, so congrats to the spring sports, and just again want to thank each and every one of you for, you know, steady leadership in an unpredictable year. You know, we came back together as a community into the buildings, and from behavior to curriculum to space, you guys have patched it together, figured it out on the fly, and I think we can close it and say it was a successful school year. So thank you guys. That's all I got.
Thank you. Kevin?
Well, I'm going to have to echo all the support to pull off graduation, commencement. I know we saw the tip of the iceberg, and I tried to think everybody I could find, but I'm sure I missed someone. So we know it's a big effort, something that's unique for the kids of the class of 21 now and 22, plus I think 87 maybe classes.
I think you're right.
So we have 3 classes now with a common bond. So so thanks to that. And I also just, you know, I thought one of the highlights was the comments by Mr. Reed, Vance Reed. He had some nice words to share with the class. And the one thing I noted, you could tell that the students were right there in his corner and appreciative of everything that he's done and been a part of many, many classes here at Mason. So Thanks to Vance for those great words. And just like to thank the staff for another great year. I think, you know, it's a lot's been already said, so I won't repeat those things, but the appreciation is real. I know from all of us here, and we certainly appreciate everything, and thank you.
Yeah, good. Well, I guess I can't be left out of congratulating the people behind the scenes that worked on graduation. It was absolutely awesome, and I always hear early in a conversation after graduation, and often, is that I can't believe you guys pulled that off in such a reasonable, short amount of time, and yet every kid was respected, it got recognized, and it was an enjoyable atmosphere. You said what needed to be said, and they kind of, I'm dreading it, 900 some kids, but every year you guys pull it off. Brandon Rompey's at the high school, and his team, I can't possibly mention all the names. Todd, I know your team steps up. I don't know if you've seen your wife in the past week, probably, but what a great job. What a great job. Thank you so very much. And then to the staff for, again, not only another great year, but another year that I know when these graduates go off, what we're going to hear is the comment that comes back most often is, Mason really prepared me well. Some of my classmates, my other freshmen, are struggling here, and I don't think that I'm as bad off. I'm doing really well. I understand what's going on. My teachers at Mason prepared me, and I am so grateful to that, and you can't replace that in a kid's life. As a parent, as a community member, that is so important to realize that. So thank you for that. And the other comment I'd like to make is, Jonathan, you brought up the fact that over the summer, we don't have kids in classes, but kids still have needs. There are families that still have needs. And our commitment as a district to mental health goes 12 months out of the year, not just during the school year. The Safe Tip School line is available. We have people in the building that can respond to calls and needs, and they can refer services for families that need it. And I would just like to help everyone remember to think about walking in the other person's shoes before you act, and what may happen, and can you live with it. It's a horrible tragedy what happened elsewhere in our country today. My heart breaks wanting to comfort those families and those parents, and we are truly a blessed community because we have the support for families that truly need it and kids that truly need it. But yeah, I'm thrilled at the way graduation went. Another successful year, and all of the gratitude and all of the thanks belong with our staff. So thank you. With that, I guess I will ask for adjournment. I have a motion.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yep.
Yes. Thank you very much.